Have you ever felt that undeniable pull, a whisper from the far reaches of the earth, beckoning you towards the unknown? That feeling, that insatiable curiosity? For me, that feeling has a name, a place etched in my mind and heart. The Caucasus Mountains. They stand tall and proud, a giant, imposing wall, a natural border standing strong between the continents of Europe and Asia. This is Georgia, a land steeped in ancient stories and legends, whispered on the wind through the valleys. A place where you'll find warm hearts and wild, untamed nature that stretches as far as the eye can see. I wanted to see it all, to truly experience its beauty, not just from a car window but with my own 2 feet, feeling the earth beneath me. This journey was more than just a hike, more than just ticking off another destination. It was an answer to a call from deep within my soul, a yearning to connect with something bigger than myself. The idea started as a simple dream, a seed planted in my imagination, sparked by breathtaking photos of lush, green valleys and majestic snow-covered peaks piercing the sky. The more I learned about this incredible place, the more I researched its history and culture, the more I knew, with every fiber of my being, that I had to go and experience it for myself. Georgia was quickly becoming more than just a place on a map, a name in a guidebook. It was a whole world waiting to be discovered, a tapestry of experiences waiting to be woven. I imagined myself crossing crystal-clear rivers, feeling the cool water on my skin, climbing high passes, pushing my limits with every step, and sleeping peacefully under a breathtaking blanket of stars, feeling utterly insignificant, yet completely connected to the universe. Preparing for a journey like this, into the heart of the Caucasus, is no small task. You need the right gear, detailed maps to guide your way, and above all, an open mind, ready to embrace the unexpected. Each carefully chosen piece of gear was a key, a tool, to unlocking the secrets and wonders of this incredible landscape. I knew there would inevitably be difficult days, challenging terrain, moments of doubt, but I also knew that the rewards, the views, the experiences would be far greater than any challenge I might face. And so, with my trusty backpack securely on my shoulders and my spirits soaring high with anticipation, I finally set off for Georgia, ready to embrace the adventure that awaited. The majestic Caucasus Mountains were calling my name, their peaks shimmering in the distance, and I was finally on my way to answer that call, to explore their hidden trails and discover their secrets. This is the story of that incredible journey, a story of wild, untamed trails, breathtakingly high peaks, and the unforgettable warmth and hospitality of the Georgian people. The adventure began in a small, quaint village nestled at the foot of the majestic mountains. It was a place where time seemed to slow down, where the rhythm of life was dictated by the rising and setting of the sun over the peaks. The air was crisp, a tangible coolness that invigorated the senses, the city's noise replaced by the soothing sound of a rushing river and the distant melodies of birds echoing through the forest. It was a symphony of nature, a welcome change from the urban cacophony. My journey started on a narrow path barely wider than my 2 feet, a ribbon winding its way relentlessly up the verdant green hillside. Each step was a commitment, a step further into the unknown. The first steps are always the most important, a promise to keep going, to push through the fatigue and doubt, no matter what challenges or unexpected wonders lie ahead. As I walked deeper into the wild, leaving the familiar behind, the world changed completely, transforming into a realm of untamed beauty and raw, unfiltered nature. Tall trees, ancient and wise, formed a dense green roof overhead, filtering the light and creating an ethereal atmosphere. Sunlight streaming through the leaves in golden rays, painting the forest floor with shifting patterns of light and shadow. Wildflowers, in vibrant hues, painted the landscape in shades of purple, yellow, and red, a kaleidoscope of color that danced in the gentle breeze. I was alone, but not lonely. The mountains were my silent companions, their peaks reaching towards the sky, and the winding trail was my trusted guide. The trail was sometimes steep, a relentless climb that tested my endurance, sometimes crossed by crystal-clear streams, their waters rushing down the mountainside. But every challenge, every obstacle overcome, only served to make the journey that much more rewarding, that much more meaningful. At each hilltop I'd stop to rest, catching my breath and allowing my muscles a moment of respite, and marvel at the breathtaking valley stretching out below, a tapestry of green fields and winding rivers, and the seemingly endless mountains rising in the distance, their peaks disappearing into the hazy horizon. In these first days, immersed in the wilderness, I learned to truly listen to nature's subtle rhythm, the whispers of the wind, to watch the ever-changing formations of the clouds as they danced across the sky, and to find the best, most secluded places to set up camp, a temporary sanctuary in the heart of the mountains. This was more than just a physical act of walking, it was a profound conversation with the wild, a dialogue between my soul and the ancient spirit of the mountains. The mountains, in their silent majesty, were teaching me invaluable lessons in patience, strength, both physical and mental, and a deep, unwavering appreciation for the simple, unadulterated beauty that surrounds us in the natural world. I was not just a visitor passing through. I was a student eager to learn, and the vast, untamed Georgian wilderness was my classroom, a place of endless discovery and profound self-reflection. One afternoon, as rain began to fall, a gentle drizzle that quickly intensified, I found myself seeking shelter. The weather in the mountains can change in an instant, and I was reminded of nature's unpredictable power. In the distance, through the misty rain, I spotted a small, traditional house nestled amongst the trees. It looked like a beacon of warmth and safety. As I approached, an old woman with a kind face, etched with the wisdom of years, opened the wooden door. Her eyes sparkled with genuine warmth. She welcomed me inside with open arms and a warm smile, a gesture that immediately made me feel at ease. Her home was simple, yet incredibly warm and inviting, a refuge from the storm outside. The interior was cozy and filled with character. The air was filled with the comforting smell of baking bread, a scent that spoke of home and hearth. It was a truly welcoming aroma. This was my first real taste of Georgian hospitality, a cultural cornerstone that I would come to deeply appreciate. It was a genuine kindness that asks for nothing in return, a selfless act of generosity that is so characteristic of the Georgian people. Soon, her family gathered around a rustic wooden table, laden with food and warmth. They began offering me fresh, homemade cheese, warm, crusty bread straight from the oven, and a hearty vegetable stew simmered to perfection. Despite the language barrier, we communicated with gestures, smiles, and shared laughter. The grandfather, a man of few words but immense presence, raised a glass of homemade wine, a deep ruby red in color. He began to make a toast, a tradition called a supra, a heartfelt expression of goodwill and connection. In that small mountain home, surrounded by the warmth of the family, I was no longer a stranger. I was welcomed as family, embraced by their genuine hospitality. In Georgia, a guest is considered a gift from God, a blessing to be cherished and honored. And true to their tradition, people share everything they have, offering the best they can to those who cross their path. That evening, gathered around the table, the family told stories, sharing their lives and experiences. They recounted tales of their lives in the mountains, of hardship and joy, of community and resilience. Their son, fluent in English, acted as translator for me, bridging the gap between our cultures. The next morning, as I prepared to leave, they insisted on packing food for my journey, ensuring I wouldn't go hungry. When I offered to pay for their kindness, they firmly refused any payment, their generosity unwavering. Their kindness was a genuine gift, freely given, a testament to the beauty of human connection, not a transaction. As I walked away from their home, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for their unexpected kindness. The mountains were undeniably stunning, their peaks reaching towards the sky in majestic splendor. But it was the warmth and generosity of the people, their open hearts and welcoming smiles that truly made this journey unforgettable. My journey led me to Svaneti, a region straight out of a fairy tale. Ancient stone towers called koshki rise from the villages built centuries ago as homes and fortresses. Walking through Mestia and Ushguli, I felt transported back in time. The hike from Mestia to Ushguli is legendary. 4 days through spectacular landscapes, high passes, and glacier-fed rivers. Each turn revealed breathtaking views, with snow-capped peaks like Shkara and Tetnuldi shining in the distance. Each night I stayed in guest houses, sharing Svanetian food and stories with locals and fellow hikers. Reaching Ushguli, one of Europe's highest settlements, was unforgettable, a living museum of stone towers against Mount Shkara. I wandered muddy lanes, watched cows roam, and soaked in the peace. Svaneti is not just a place to see, it's a place to feel. It is the true heart of the Georgian Caucasus. Here, history and nature are inseparable. After Svaneti, I craved even more wilderness, so I set out for Tusheti. Getting there meant braving the Abano Pass, one of the world's most dangerous roads, open only in summer. The journey was nerve-wracking, but the views were out of this world. Ushguli is a protected national park of green hills, deep gorges, and crystal rivers. Villages like Omalo and Dartlo have their own ancient towers and a way of life deeply connected to nature. Most people here are shepherds, living simply and with quiet dignity. The hiking was wild and challenging, often following faint shepherd paths. Days passed without seeing another soul, just sheep and their guardian dogs. The solitude brought peace and self-reliance. Camping alone in the high mountains, I watched the Milky Way blaze across the sky. The only sounds were wind and distant sheep. In those moments I felt an overwhelming connection to the universe. Ushguli reminds you how big the world is, and how magical. No great adventure is without its challenges. The mountains are beautiful but also powerful and unpredictable. There were days when my body ached and my spirit wavered. Climbing steep passes under the hot sun, I wanted to give up. But the peaks pulled me onward. Weather could change in an instant. A sunny day could become a fierce thunderstorm. I learned to find shelter, to stay calm, and to embrace the wild's raw power. Solitude brought moments of doubt, but also taught me to be my own best friend. Mental strength became as important as physical endurance. Every challenge was a lesson in resilience and the power of a positive attitude. I discovered I was capable of more than I ever imagined. The hard days forged me, making the journey even more meaningful. The mountains test you, but they also make you stronger. Through adversity, you discover who you truly are. Hiking across Georgia is a journey through time as much as nature. In remote villages, history is alive all around you. I visited ancient cliffside churches, their faded frescoes telling stories centuries old. One evening, a host played the panduri and sang haunting polyphonic songs, music that is the soul of Georgia. The songs told tales of heroes, battles, and love for the mountains. Even without understanding the words, the emotion was powerful. Locals shared legends of mountain goddesses and brave warriors, stories passed down for generations. These tales made the landscape feel magical, every peak and forest alive with myth. Georgians are proud of their past and work hard to keep their culture alive. Walking these ancient lands, I felt like a guest in a living museum. The stories of the mountains became part of my own journey. As my journey neared its end, I spent my last nights camping high in the mountains. The silence was profound, a deep peace that settled into my bones. By day, I watched eagles soar and clouds drift over green valleys. At night, the stars blazed brighter than I'd ever seen, the Milky Way arching overhead. Lying under that sky, I felt connected to everything, a small but important part of the universe. The trail taught me the value of simplicity, food, water, shelter, and gratitude. True happiness is found in sunsets, warm meals, and kind smiles. The mountains strip away what's unnecessary and reveal what matters most. As I left the trail, I felt a mix of sadness and accomplishment. I had walked across the wild heart of Georgia. The mountains had changed me, leaving me with a stronger body, a clearer mind, and a heart full of gratitude. The peace of the mountains would stay with me always. I started this journey with a simple dream, to see the wild mountains of Georgia. I came back with stories, memories, and a new understanding of my own strength. This experience is available to you too. You don't need to be an expert. Just take the first step. Georgia's trails are open, its mountains calling, and its people ready to welcome you. Imagine walking through green valleys, tasting homemade food, and standing on a high pass with the world at your feet. Maybe you think you're not strong or brave enough. I felt that way too, but the mountains will teach you. Every step will make you stronger. The journey will change you, filling you with confidence and peace. It's a gift you give yourself, a gift of growth and discovery. So, what are you waiting for? Your adventure is out there. It's waiting in the high peaks, ancient villages, and wild heart of Georgia. Pack your bag, buy that ticket, and take the first step. The world is big and beautiful. Go find your own wild Caucasus adventure.